What would this be? 180, 186? Maybe.
6 or 185 or 186?
Whatever, I'll fix it in post.
I'll figure it out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 185th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict. You may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we're talking about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. With me as always is my friend, co-host, and, God, I've really got nothing.
Really blanking.
What do you have going on today? What's up? What can I use here?
Going to the park later today.
Goodness. And my senior citizen buddy, Frederick, going to feed the ducks, his only friends. How are we doing today?
I got myself some stale bread. I'm about to crunch it and then chuck it.
For some reason, when you say I'm about to crunch it, I picture you chewing it up and then spitting it at the ducks. Mama birding style?
Is there any other type of crunching? Is
there any other way to feed park ducks? The answer is no.
Fun fact, when I was younger, me and my mom, we went to feed the local ducks at the local little lake.
Of course.
And we had some big old stale bread. And in my foolish youth, I was about 4 years old, I think, maybe 5. I took a really big piece of bread. I was like, I don't need to, they'll figure this out themselves. And I chucked it. And it hit a little duckling right in the head and it passed out.
Oh my god. Jesus. You murdered a duckling. Yeah, it definitely did not pass out. That's definitely something your mom told you to make you feel better.
Yeah, it might have been knocked unconscious and then drowned.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I feel like this is...
No, I don't know.
This is not something you should admit.
Possible duck murder when I was young. It was a sweet moment of me trying to feed them, and then it ended up being the opposite.
Being a homicide, yeah. I mean, possibly, we don't know for sure. Okay, with my
we don't know.
Friend
that duck might live to this day.
Duck murderer, Frederick. God. You know, a lot of people I know are actually very scared of birds. And I never really understood why, because I always thought if a fucking goose comes at you, you smack it or whatever. But then recently...
You just kick that bitch.
Right, you punt it. I was in Tivoli Gardens, as you do, and I was just chilling on a bench. I just kind of just slightly looked to my left, and there's a giant calcoon just standing right next to me.
Giant turkey.
Is that a turkey? It didn't look like a traditional turkey, but it was a big ass fucking turkey ass bird, and I was like, the fuck! I freaked the fuck out, and some tourists around us were very amused, but I actually jumped and we vacated the bench, moved to another one, and it followed us there as well, and now I get it because that was really fucking scary. Anyway,
I went to Tivoli Gardens and I was terrorized by a cocoon.
Yeah. Anyway, this podcast is not about our various phobias and/or confessions of murdering sweet little animals. We do talk movies and such, and today...
Sometimes.
Occasionally, yeah, when we're feeling in the mood. Today, I thought we would do a mini reviews episode, because let's be honest, nothing's been happening lately. It's been, I think, not months since we did a mini reviews episode. There's no news. The one piece of news is the Meg 2 trailer, which arguably could fill an episode, but...
Which could be a whole series. Analyze each minute of the trailer.
Every frame of the T-Rex being eaten by the Meg. That does happen. But I was thinking...
That's not a joke, by the way.
It's fucking dope, actually, if you think about it.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do that this episode.
We would go through all the movies that we watched over the past month or so, because I've watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and some of these we can bunch together, of course, but... I've got just a bunch of classic movies that I don't think this one will do well thumbnail titling wise, but this could be just like the classical movies of the Poorly Planned episode.
And is there anything better? Is my question.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if you have anything really topical you've watched, that'd be great because that would make for great thumbnails. Otherwise, the thumbnail will be Eyes Wide Shut cruise orgy movie.
Of course, but I've got one topical one, but I don't know if you'll be hesitant to put it in the title.
Is it like a new pornographic film?
It is, in fact, a homemade pornographic film I've made.
Right. Mini reviewing that. So, it's a bit long and a little bit meandering at the start, but...
Oh, lie, it doesn't stick true to the plot sometimes, but goddamn, the action on point.
Anyway, I say we just jump into this.
I say we do it.
I've grouped mine by 3 categories. I've got the
The stankers.
I have like the classic and kind of intense ones, the wholesome ones, and the miscellaneous. I didn't have another category, but let's start with the intense classic ones. And this one we can talk about actually because you've seen it as well.
Ooh.
I watched American Psycho for the first time.
Ooh, I have seen.
A little Bateman action.
Little Bateman action. What'd you think?
I thought it was okay. I got a lot of shit for giving it. I think I gave it 3 stars, and
Do people want it to be more?
people did want it to be, specifically the boys. They were like, "How could you give it 3 stars, you fucking loser?" And they threw stale bread at me.
Just knocked unconscious. It was, in my opinion, decent, but
It was decent.
kind of overhyped.
Yeah, I think it was.
It makes some good meme material.
It absolutely
certainly.
did, and I think the Christian Bale performance keeps it very captivating. You know, in this weird, gross kind of disturbing performance, it's very compelling to watch. You can't take your eyes off of him, which I guess is kind of the point. But I don't know. Yeah, as a film, I didn't find it that like there wasn't really much I cared about, I guess, you know, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like it has to be a protagonist that I root for or anything, but yeah, like I didn't really.
You just felt like you were just kind of sitting there watching him do
Yeah.
his thing without there being much, cause for it.
Yeah, and again, there's some interestingness in that, and I thought the sort of the twist at the end was kind of interesting. And again, it's one of those where I found like reading about it afterwards and watching some videos about it more interesting, the kind of like, the interpretations of it and all that. But as a movie, it's really just one great Bale performance and some solid Defoeing. And without that, there's not too much to it that I loved. I will say there was, not to like dox myself or anything, but there was one thing that I really enjoyed where they go to a bar called, or like a restaurant called Barcadia, and that is a place that exists in my college town that we go to very often, so that was very funny.
Completely doxed yourself there.
And also, and I might cut this out because it doesn't make me look great, but I promise it's not for any like really bad reason. But some of my friends have an ongoing joke that I am Patrick Bateman, only because, can I just stress?
Only because I murder women.
Only because I'm American and I live in what has been interpreted as one of the nicer student accommodations, so it's kind of been portrayed as Patrick Bateman's, apartment, penthouse, whatever. So there were a couple of amusing moments they got out of that, but
They also have seen you sweat profusely after you see little business cards sometimes.
I mean, obviously, yeah. And I think I don't know. Maybe I'm not like, I don't have OCD or anything, but I like things in a certain schedule, whatever. And he's a bit of an intense guy. So besides all the murdering and psychoing and stuff, I feel like that's not part of it. But
Okay, if you say so.
but yeah, they did also, one of them put my face on a poster and wrote Danish Psycho, and I thought that was pretty good. But anyway, an okay movie.
And then it just turned into like borderline bullying, and I really felt bad for a few weeks.
And like I was really trying not to be Patrick Bateman here. But yeah, overall, besides the personal memery that I got out of it, an okay film. Again, I'd like to stress I'm not anything like Patrick Bateman. Please don't assume I have women in the closet.
Yeah, a good final message about the movie.
It's always good when you have to put out a disclaimer. I don't have women in my closet.
So I just watched American Psycho, and by the way, just for legal purposes, I'm not that.
He's not literally me, I hate to say.
I'm not that humble king, okay?
God, no. But if I told you Patrick Bateman had those women in his closet. Anyway, yeah.
What if I told you Paul Allen had that axe in him?
Go ahead, if you will.
Ooh, okay, well, do you want me to hit you with a topical one now?
Let's get out of the way. Fuck the topical. Today it's a deep dive into history.
So am I or am I not?
Yes, go for it.
At least get it out of the way, but we're not doing it. I was confused.
So sorry.
And I felt like Bateman all over again.
Right.
Alright, well, cue the intro.
Jesus. When you said topical, I thought you meant you'd seen, like, I don't know, Fast X early or something, not some...
I stole Oppenheimer.
God.
All right. Well,
What a lame
Suzume.
crime. Sorry. Yeah, you're in
Oh my
for
God.
stealing Oppenheimer.
What are you in for? I murdered my daughter. What are you in for? I stole the movie Oppenheimer like a few weeks early.
You have the one DVD copy.
The world will never see it. I hid it in the prison wallet.
God, Jesus. I was about to say you hid it in
Anyways.
your chocolate pocket. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. That's very needed. All right, so I watched Suzume in the theater. It's the same people who made Your Name and Weathering with You, all good acclaimed movies. I have to say, this one also kind of great. Very, very wholesome, very beautiful animations. I think it's a good one to watch in the cinema. I watched it with with my girlfriend and one of our friends, and they were both a little bit skeptical, but then they both started crying in it, including myself a little bit. There was a little bit of tears and stuff, and it was just a beautiful, at times very like heart-wrenching, but also at other times very uplifting movie, and it was just a good time.
Is it
I don't know. It was just
a romance, a family drama? What are we talking?
It's. I don't really. This might be bordering on the shady, but it could be a bit of a romance. But it's basically, so the main character Suzume accidentally opens a portal to some other like part of the world wherein like a big like danger lies, that if it goes through the gate, it causes earthquakes and other disasters in the real world, right? So she basically. Like, she meets this guy who's in college. She's in high school. He's in college, which is where she does kind of, like, she falls in love with him. I don't know if it's, like, a very, like, sexualized romance or if it's just kind of like a I love you as a estranged cousin kind of thing, you know?
Okay.
But she does kiss him, so I guess it's not that. But so basically, he gets turned into a chair.
All right, yeah.
Okay, explaining it, I now know and hear that it does sound a little bit strange.
I mean, I'll say...
But honestly, it's a very, very sweet and wholesome moment. I mean, movie.
The chair moment specifically. It's the end of the movie.
The chair moment.
It's a complete normal romantic drama, and at the end, he is just turned into a chair. The end. Leave.
Suzume, 5 stars.
Okay, all right.
There's like there's a little cat that they chase around, and okay, yeah, it sounds without seeing it, it sounds like a fever dream. But it's
I'll take your word for it.
Quite grounded and beautiful.
Okay.
So shut your mouth.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, very good. I gave it 4 stars
Damn.
out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair,
Tells you something.
the I've definitely heard of Your Name, and even though we joyously mock the anime segment here on the Poorly Planned, I have heard nothing but good things, and I think it is definitely an untapped genre for me. So I think, although I might not start with Suzume,
Suzume,
the chair movie, but Your Name is on the list, so I will.
God
I will
damn it!
get around to it.
That's a subtitle. Suzume, the chair movie.
Not really a good link here to this, but I did watch 2 Stanley Kubrick movies. Because I am a film student, and I gotta be a bit pretentious with it. And I will say...
I gotta follow my craft.
One of them I thought was amazing, and one of them, not gonna lie, big overrated moment. And I hate to say, the one that I thought was a bit overrated was the cruise one, which was the one I was more looking forward to.
No!
I know, very upsetting. But the really good one,
Right.
I watched Full Metal Jacket with the Pops. And I mean, yeah, just a very, very good war movie, I guess. I'll be honest, I'm a little, even having not seen a lot of them, I am a little over war movies, just because I mean, like, having seen most of them, like, I've seen a lot of them, and it's kind of, it's just like, you always, like, that movie that came out last year, All Quiet on the Western Front, I'm sure it's great, but it's like, I've seen, it's everyone thinks the war is going to be fun, and then it's actually, like, spoiler alert, war is terrible and like the worst thing ever. And it's like, yes, I'm on board with that message, but like I've seen it now a bunch of times. It's like I don't really need to see it again. But this one, it just it did things in a very, I mean, it's Stanley Kubrick, so obviously it's very well made. It's just a lot of very intense scenes, a lot of great kind of character building, and the first bit of it is the classic I'm sure you've seen the clips of it. The sergeant or the colonel or whatever, the guy with the hat. You know, it's a very, very iconic character. Who yells at them and he's like, "Let me see your war face," and all that. Yeah. Which, by the way, watching that, I realized just how much Hacksaw Ridge Vince Vaughn just like completely stole. I mean, it's just like the same scene basically.
But it's like a drill sergeant, no?
Yeah, and I know that's kind of the drill sergeant
a lot of
vibe,
war movies.
But like he kind of, literally the Vince Vaughn scene is just the same thing, but like slightly less offensive because he just says like every slur in the first like 5 seconds of the movie.
I see.
In Full Metal Jacket, not Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn. I like how you said Vince Vaughn's one is less offensive because he says all the slurs.
Yeah, no, the one from Full Metal Jacket. But yeah, I mean, just a very, very well made film, very good. Quite touching at the end also. It's just, it's a very, very good movie. Great music too. And then the other one that I watched was in fact, I believe Stanley Kubrick's final film starring, I was about to say Stanley Kubrick. What's his name? Tom Cruise. And it is Eyes Wide Shut. And I'm not going to lie. Okay. Not that it was bad, but a big disappointment for me. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually quite looking.
Is this like a very acclaimed movie?
It is a bit. Yeah, and especially again, and I shouldn't reference them so much, but some of the film bros are crazy about this and could not fathom that I had given it a measly 3 stars.
God, you're going on this BHL rampage, just tearing up the town with your crazy opinions.
But it was just. Because I've seen a bunch of Kubrick movies now, and I have to say, I think I've really, loved all of them. I think, all of them have been great so far. And then I was like, he did one with Tom Cruise, and it's about, a weird underground...
I'm going to love this even more.
Yeah, an orgy cult thing. That's what a recipe for an interesting film.
That's my kind of night.
And I thought it was just kind of boring. I hate to say it, and this is... Ooh. I'm sorry, it was kind of dull. It was because look, maybe it's
he's hit him with it.
A problem with my own expectations.
The B word.
Because I was expecting more of Cruise infiltrates this underground cult thing. Whoa, it's so crazy. And really, there is one underground cult scene, and then the rest is Tom Cruise kind of walking around and thinking about his wife getting fucked by another guy, which is interesting in some ways.
Unrelated to the movie.
I mean, it is kind of awkward because it is Nicole Kidman who plays his wife, while I think they were actually married. So it's a little bit interesting in that way, because there's a lot of scenes of just Cruise sitting in a taxi thinking about himself getting cucked, which is interesting, I guess. But
maybe that's what spawned his whole weird kind of gimmicky personality.
I will say, if there's one thing I'd say about Cruise, I don't think his personality is a gimmick. I think it is 100% unfiltered Cruise.
Yeah, that's actually...
But yeah, maybe this one drove him, I don't want to say insane, because we're not saying he's insane, but...
100% unfiltered Cruise.
But I don't know, it's some of it's kind of interesting, and it's, it's a little bit thought-provoking, but it wasn't... The thing is, sometimes I'll watch these slower movies, and I'll be like, I'm watching this on my computer, or I'm watching this in 2 parts, whatever. I'm not really into it, so I kind of give it a bit of a pass. This one, I was watching on the TV. I watched it all in one sitting.
I was on all fours, ball gag in mouth. My attention could not have been elsewhere.
And I was completely there for it. I was totally engaged, and I found myself just thinking it's kind of dragging a bit. I don't know. You know what? I'm not trying to be I don't want to hear any oh, you just like Marvel movies, you don't understand slow movies or whatever. Sometimes a movie is just kind of boring, all right? It's just it's a fact of the matter. Right. So I think there's some interesting things. I've been told I need to watch it again. I definitely won't, but I found it to be kind of dull. The end. Sorry, Kubrick. R.I.P.
Again, a 3-star. You don't hate it.
It was still good. It was still
as much as...
good. It had some interesting ideas and good performances, but yeah, just a little... kind of, just meandering. Literally, it's just Cruise meandering the streets, which I would normally love, but...
Which, again, normally would love, but when he's thinking about himself getting cucked, it's not the same
gross.
vibe. All right. Well, I will move on from that with, let's see. What do we got here? Have I talked... Ooh, let's...
You have.
See here. What would be a good kind of segue here?
All right.
Speaking of one man who gets cucked with another man who got cucked in his cooking towards the end of the movie.
I see. You rewatched Chef.
Let's talk Burnt,
Oh my
starring
goodness.
Rocket Raccoon. Actually, a very good movie. I enjoyed. I won't lie. I have this, I want to say, weird man crush on Bradley Cooper.
I get you.
Anything he's in, I just kind of automatically enjoy.
Yeah.
Especially if he's got the scruff. I mean, you know why I like Dungeons and Dragons so much.
Right.
Bradley Cooper.
A real scruffy Coop.
The scruffiest Coop. Actually, did he have scruff in that one? I don't remember.
Not really. He was minor scruff.
He was just small. Anyways.
He was just small.
Anyway, in this one, he is a disgraced chef who, was... I mean, have you seen it? You haven't, right?
I've seen a bit of it, and then I fell asleep, but...
Do you mind if I spoil a bit?
Nah, go nuts.
Your donuts make me go Coops. So, we've got... God, this fucking idiot.
Retire.
Get off the stage.
You're bombing out there.
This is not the career for you, son.
Just imagine you on a stand-up stage going, so, your donuts make me go Coops. Anyway, just crickets. Tomatoes flung. Sorry, continue.
Your donuts.
That's all you say, no context.
I sell out at every show.
God.
I just whispered ASMR style into the mic.
Your donuts make me go Coop. The crowd goes bananas.
The crowd goes Coop.
Okay, anyway, burnt.
I apologize. Anyways, Burnt. He's a disgraced chef who kind of, I don't know what happened, but he just kind of basically had a mental break when he was working at a very intense Michelin-starred restaurant in France. He became an alcoholic, drug user, and stuff like that. Then he basically gets clean. He completely ruins the restaurant, and all his friends within the restaurant business. That's kind of at all related to it. Then a few years later, he's sober. He wants to come. He's got this thing where it's he wants to, I don't know how you clean, pick, or prepare 1 million oysters, and then after he does that, he's like, all right, I'm back in the restaurant business. Let's go. And then he goes back to some of his connections, and it's okay, I'll cook for you. Let's make it a 3-star Michelin restaurant. That's his goal. He hires a few different people. He's intense, but the food's good. But he's got a few issues he needs to work out. Then he hires back his sous chef, which is, do you remember in Jurassic Park, Chris Pratt's buddy who works with him with the raptors?
Yes. I liked him.
Right. So he's I like him as well. He's in this, and basically it's revealed that Coop let loose a bunch of rats in the guy's restaurant a while back. But then he's like, okay, I forgive you. Let's past the past. Let's work together again. Anyways, then suddenly they think that the Michelin Man is there. So they're like, okay, it has to be perfect. The food has to be perfect.
The car mascot?
No. So the Michelin
twist.
Man enters, but so the Michelin Men are there. They think, and then Coop's like, okay, it has to be perfect. Bada. And then the sous chef then compromises part of the dish, puts a bunch of pepper in it or something that makes it basically disgusting to eat. And then he's like, that was for Paris. And then Coop has a nervous breakdown and laughs and just leaves. I almost laughed a little bit because he's like, this terrible thing happened to him, and he just bursts out laughing and runs out the restaurant. It's like, Cooper, no.
He goes Coop, as it's known in the industry.
He he went full Coop, which is something you should never do.
Right.
And then it turns out it wasn't the Michelin Man, and he then later gets redemption. He finds love. It's a beautiful, beautiful tale, but also the food just looks kind of good. So I'm there for it.
All right, I think food movies are kind of an underrated. Just the aesthetics of chef and the menu and all that food stuff is.
Yeah, I agree.
Go kind of hard.
They do go kind of hard.
And if it's wrapped up in a well told kind of Coop or in a Coop drama, I'm not against that.
I mean, it was a good time. I recommend. I think you'd like it, and it's not too long. So I do think that if it went on for longer, it would maybe be a bit like too much of the same thing. But because it's only an hour and a half long, it does kind of, it's a perfect time for it as well, I think.
Fair enough. I did, when I was like 13 or something, I did try to watch it at a sleepover at Yassine's house. But it was like 1 a.m. and at 13, that is quite a time to be up.
That's a tall, big ask.
Yeah. But fair enough. Speaking of the Coop, by the way, I didn't even have it written down, but I will throw in, I did watch The Hangover and most of The Hangover 2.
Ooh.
Did not finish The Hangover 2 though, because it was bad. It wasn't great.
I like the Hangover movies.
The first one's amazing. The first one is such a vibe. The second one is just, I mean, they do the exact same thing again. And I was thinking they do kind of a 22 Jump Street thing where they kind of more acknowledge that they're doing the same thing again, but they kind of just do the same thing. And like,
oh my god, Doug's gone again.
Yeah, they just kind of like, they sort of like, I can't believe this is happening again, but then they don't really do anything else with it. And it's just kind of all the same jokes, but like more dark and less funny. Like it's sort of like,
And in Bangkok now?
It is, yeah. And I didn't even watch the last 30 minutes, but yeah, not a huge vibe. But on some comedies, I'll throw these two in here together because they are two Robin Williams comedies, which I'm not going to lie, I've been on a bit of a Williams train lately because...
Okay.
Horrific phrasing, yes, I know. But because I watched Good Will Hunting a couple months ago, one of my favorite movies of all time, top 4 on Letterboxd.
Ooh.
And so there were two movies that my dad is actually a fan of that I thought I'd check out with him. That I was like, okay, I'll watch them in the other room. Be shunned. So we watched Dead Poets Society, which is an amazing movie. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've not seen it.
It's a young hawk, a child hawk.
Ooh.
I believe one of his
child hawk.
His first performances. And basically he's going to this preppy, school or whatever, and all the teachers are these boring, stupid assholes, but then, wait a minute, there's one teacher who teaches poetry, who's just the coolest and funniest dude, and it is, of course, Robin Williams. It is, of course, grown-up hawk, time travel situation. Just an amazing movie. Robin Williams, he kind of plays, like, the same guy in every movie, like, a very funny guy who does, like, the improvisational stuff, but then, like, has a very wholesome... But it's
also wholesome.
Like a fatherly type of, just, like, presence. I'm not gonna lie, like, watching these movies, I did get kind of... I don't know, just very... I guess it's understandable.
A little bit emotional?
Just very bummed about, like, I don't know, everything that happened. Bummed is sort of like a, not a greatly expressive word for, like, the, bummed is, like, very casual word. Like, it's very fucking sad what happened.
It is.
Because he's just, like, I think, watching these movies, he's one of, like, the best comedic actors, like, ever. Like, the way he can just, like, I don't know, just, he's so distinctive in his style, and he's just such a, like, amazing presence on screen. So yeah, it's just fucking, like, very tragic what happened. But in this movie, he basically teaches them in a very Robin Williams-y type of way about, like, poetry isn't about, like, reading stuff and whatever. It's about, like, expressing yourself and living life, and it's just, like, a beautiful, beautiful film. It's very sad, too, at a certain point. I won't spoil it, but, like, there's a point in the film where something happens, just, like, a huge gut punch.
Really big bummer.
Big bummer as a man who can't think of better words to say on a podcast, would put it, I guess. And at the ending, again, I won't spoil, beautiful. Just a real tearjerker. And then on another Williams train, I'd say probably the most Williams performance ever, where he just kind of gets to let loose. I did, in fact, watch Good Morning Vietnam. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do the thing.
Good Morning Vietnam!
There we go. Thank you. I was hoping you'd pick up on that.
I got you.
Which I don't know if you've actually seen, because you used to reference it very often, but I don't know if
I've never seen it.
You just know those 3 pivotal words.
I know that line, and then I would alter it slightly.
You would, yeah.
As was my brilliant gag back in the day.
Yeah, no, about like 10 years ago or something, you would send Snapchat streaks of Good Morning. What, you just put another country in, I guess?
Yeah, so it was great. It was truly one of the peaks of my prowess in that I would send the first one to all my streaks back when I had a streak to keep. I'd send a Good Morning Vietnam, and then each day from then it would be a new country, and it would be a great gag, and everyone, all my followers. They'd be like, "Oh my God, what day is he gonna do now? Or what country is he gonna do now?" And it lasted for a good 2 months or something, I think, and then I moved on to my next project.
And then the next job came calling, so I had to give that one up. But no, yeah. Good Morning Vietnam. Really great movie. Again, just like the Williams performance. Obviously, I mean, you could not make this movie without Robin Williams. The whole point is he's like a radio guy who like just is really funny and does improv. And I'm gonna assume like most of the stuff he does is his improv.
His improv.
It's just very very funny, wholesome. I will say not as good as Dead Poet Society. There's a bit of the drama angle of it isn't as strong. Like there's some interesting stuff where he's like getting to know the local people and he has a bit of a romance and whatever, and it's nice. And then like towards the end they get a little bit more into the plot stuff, and it's not as strong. There's like a Williams chase scene that's a bit weird.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Never did I think I'd see one.
All that stuff is like, it's fine, but just the Robin Williams performance and just like the funny parts, and I don't know, there's a part where like he does his show in front of like a live kind of group of soldiers when they're stuck in traffic, and it's just like, just again the quintessential, like he's such a talented performer and great comedic actor, and he absolutely carries it. So it's definitely worth watching for that, and it's a solid movie regardless. But yeah, mainly for the Williamsness of it.
Mainly for the Williams. I do really want to watch both of those. So I'll try and get on that sometime soon, because I've heard great things about pretty much all the Williams movies. Yeah,
and I feel like you owe it to Good Morning Vietnam after doing the Good Morning Vietnam.
I think I do. Good morning, Denmark.
Good morning, Ecuador. Day 5, you're already sick of it. Also, didn't you do that Pitbull Instagram account? What happened to that?
I think that might have been my next big stepping stone to fame.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Worldwide Daily, I believe that was called. You can look that one up.
Yeah, I remember there was I mean that's still up. I haven't posted in a very long time, but now I usually only post when I like get drunk and someone mentions it. I'm like, it's time.
It's daily again.
But no, I remember there was one incident because I posted basically, to those who don't know, I just posted the same picture of Pitbull over and over again. It was a great gag with a new lyric. But then there was an incident where I didn't switch accounts, so it was on my main account.
What? I don't remember this.
I was on my main account, and then I accidentally posted it to my main account. There's this picture of Pitbull with a quote, and everyone must have thought I was insane. Until a bunch of my friends like called and texted me like, "Yo, you messed up. Pitbull's on the main FDK page."
The SWAT team comes flying through the window.
I've doxed myself.
I like how, everyone would assume it's like a cry for help. It's your final message to the world. Don't do it.
You've got so much to live for.
God, that is a nightmare. Doing Pitbull on the main is
Pitbull on the main.
That's hard to come back from. I'm impressed you buried it this time.
I sweated hard in the train. I was like, oh my God, this is the most embarrassing thing I've ever done.
And then you looked at the rest of your Instagram and you thought, oh, it actually fits in pretty well. Never. She makes a lot of sense.
I do have a picture of J.K. Simmons where I just say, "The Simmons."
I was with you when you posted that. That was a classic. The Simmons. I forgot about The Simmons. Oh my God. Simmons.
So you like scroll very far down in my Instagram, but like the first
also, like
10-20 posts are just
Charlie Cox pictures, and
there's also just a picture of a few potatoes with nothing.
Yeah. But now you've evolved past that to posting pictures of your bare ass, which there are multiple of. So can you please?
I've gone from cocks to ass, as they say.
Could you please? At some point, maybe the next ass picture you post, perhaps, could you caption it "Da Simmons" for me?
Da Simmons. You know what?
It's.
I can make that work.
It's something to think about.
It's definitely one for the thinking man.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, moving on to that little tangent. I watched. Okay. Yes. Okay. I I'm gonna bend the rules a little bit here.
No.
Because I've got
This is a TV show. I swear to fucking God, you've done nothing but bend this rule. You literally, I made the rules so we don't talk about shows and we haven't finished them, and you've literally done nothing but talk about unfinished shows. But I'll allow it, I guess. But stop calling it bending the rule. Just say you are ignoring the rule. It's fine. I'll live with it.
No. Because I acknowledge that in the past, I may have ignored the rule. But this time I am bending it slightly. Because
right.
I'm missing 30 minutes of the very last episode.
Okay, alright. Fine.
So.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
Good. I've been like binging it quite a bit when I've been working the last few days. I watched a lot and now almost done with Ted Lasso.
Ooh, okay. I actually...
So good.
That is... I very much want to watch it.
I won't lie. I think it would probably be one of your favorite shows.
It looks very
so
wholesome.
Good. It is so wholesome, but also like it's wholesome, funny. It's like it's got the kind of combination of really good, like the good bits of American humor, but also the good bits of British humor. It delves into like some like deeper issues, and like it's not afraid to like make it a more serious part of the episode and stuff like that. But it also kind of culminates in this very like uplifting, beautiful, funny show. And Jason Sudeikis is just so good as Ted Lasso, and just so beautiful and so good. And like it is like centered around a football team, but I think no one has to be a football fan to enjoy the show. Like the football is a very, very, very small part of it.
It's not a welcome to Wrexham situation.
It is not. Although I do really want to watch that.
That also looks pretty fun. But
it looks kind of great. Wrexham is actually mentioned in one of the later episodes. It's like, Ryan Reynolds offered to buy our club as well as Wrexham. I was like, okay. It like takes digs at celebrities that are like, famously not really liked and stuff like that. It does everything very, very well. Like the only thing I would say isn't the best thing about it is that there is the occasional episode that feels like a filler, which, not the biggest thing, but there's like the assistant coach called Beard, who is actually one of my favorite characters. He's very, very funny, but he does get like, he's supposed to be this kind of like, bit mysterious, bit weird, quirky guy who just kind of like is on the sideline, but then all of a sudden he gets like a whole episode for himself where he goes on this like mushroom trip where it's like, yeah. Anyways, Jay is like 40 minutes of Beard, and I'm like, okay, it delves a bit into his character, but it's not really part of anything. So that's maybe like one of the only things I don't really love about the show, is that it sometimes has a bit of a filler, but otherwise it's just like the relationships between the characters is just, it's so believable and wholesome that you're just kind of drawn in, and it makes you feel really good.
Damn.
So, and I cannot recommend it enough for you. It is, you would love it.
I think
you're such a Ted.
I think this recommendation may be what pushes it over the edge, because for a long time it has seemed exactly like our kind of show, a wholesome comedy that also has something to say occasionally.
It does have something to say.
I think that might just do it for me. I might have to do it. Plus I love a Sudeikis, Well, speaking of wholesome fun times, I did in fact go to the cinema. Unbelievable, I know.
No, you didn't.
To go see a re-release of Back to the Future, which is a film I've never seen before. It's one of the classics that I'm still missing.
Yeah.
And what an absolute delight of a time.
Yeah.
I have to say, I think
I've heard many good things, but I've never seen.
If I saw it at home, I think I would have thought like, that was pretty fun. I can see why it's a classic. That was a fun. I recognize all the iconic, lines and scenes, whatever, good stuff. But because I saw it in the cinema, there was something just, I don't want to say magical, but seeing it on the big screen with a crowd, everyone's laughing and loving it, with a bit of popcorn, feeling maybe like you're in the 80s yourself while watching it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like a bit of an 80s vibe, is what you're describing.
I really love going to see, like, older movies in the cinema, because I don't know, not to sound like a nerd, but it does feel like you're in the year it came out, and you're sort of like getting to experience, especially because I'd never seen it before. So like it really felt like I was experiencing it for the first time, like the way it was intended.
Yeah.
So I think the magic of watching in the cinema is just a great time. it's a very fun movie. It's a classic for a reason, but it's our kind of, we love a good, I think it's Spielberg produced, but we love a good Spielberg type blockbuster. It's very fun, very likable characters and lots of fun action scenes, and just the concept obviously is very enjoyable. All the time travel, and it's kind of what would I do if I time traveled and I met my whole family and all this stuff, and hopefully not kiss my own mother as Marty McFly does at a couple points, and very obviously look at her.
Kisses his mother.
He does, because he goes he goes back in the past and. Basically, long story short,
does he French his own mom?
Well, he doesn't French her, no, and it's just basically, and it's very funny, although at times, I don't know, slightly strange.
Sounds slightly creepy.
But the whole kind of comedy of it is he goes back in time and he accidentally stops his mom and his dad from meeting in high school because his mom starts liking him instead. And so he has to get his mom and dad back together. And there's a classic moment. He's like, Doc, are you telling me my mom's got the hots for me? And Doc Brown's like, I'm afraid so, Marty. You're going to have to French the shit out of her. It's the only way to save the timeline, Marty.
Marty, you need to give birth to yourself. Okay, you need to do that.
God. They also, I will say, they never explain why Marty McFly is friends with this 70-year-old weirdo nutjob professor. They're just pals for no reason, and he has no other friends. But the whole comedy of him having to, get his loser dad and his mom back together or whatever in the past is very fun. And it has a very satisfying ending where the dad saves the mom from getting assaulted, which is pretty intense scene. But yeah, it's just very fun, and there's a lot of kind of what some could call kind of corny jokes of time travel of I don't know, he meets people he knows from the future, and he says some line about how oh, you're gonna they're I'll never end up like this, and he's like, oh, I wouldn't be so sure, or something, but it works very well because it's that kind of movie. It's that kind of fun, cheesy kind of movie.
Yeah. I'm never gonna go to prison. Just you watch.
That is legitimately he has an uncle who's always in jail, and then he sees the uncle as a baby, and he's like, you better get used to these bars on this crib or whatever. And it's first of all, kind of fucked up. You're saying that to a baby, you're gonna be incarcerated for your whole life.
You better get used to these bars.
As he freestyles on him.
As Marty lets loose a tsunami of rap.
But no, just a very fun, it's classic for a reason, a very fun time. And for the record, he does not French his mother. She kisses him, and then she's like, ew, that was like kissing a brother for some reason. He's like, you have no idea. Although in that scene...
You literally give birth to me, mother.
I am your son. Freaks the fuck out.
Completely weird her out. God, I didn't really love that kiss. I feel like we should just be friends. The reason you didn't like it is because I am your kin.
We are blood relatives. He runs out of the car screaming, vomiting and shitting. A classic prom moment. Running away, screaming, vomiting, and shitting. We've all been there.
After you just kissed your son.
But yeah, a great time. A very wholesome, fun time. Would recommend.
Very nice. Okay, well, I'm going to give you the opposite of a wholesome, nice time. In that I just watched The Devil All the Time.
Oh, a little Holland action?
A little Holland Pattinson action. Weird movie. I liked it, but it was very strange. It's actually got a few good ones. It's got the guy who plays... What's he called? In the one that with Christian Bale that I watched not too long ago, The Pale Blue Eyes or something, where he plays the poet. I forget his name.
Right.
He's in it as a weird priest who thinks he's divine. Then can I spoil a few things? This is not really a spoiler of the...
Sure, I might watch this. Don't go too hard on spoilers.
Yeah, okay. This is not really important at all. They say in the first 5 minutes. So he thinks he's this insane priest who can do all sorts of miracles, and then he basically kills his wife, and it's all right, God, resurrect, and then she's obviously dead, and then he kind of goes on the run.
What a classic hijink. A The Office-esque scenario.
A Jim-esque prank. But yeah, so he's quite... he's not a main character, but We got Tom Holland as the main character. Does it quite well. He's got a bit of a southern boy accent, which is a little bit off-putting at times, but whatever. We got Sebastian Stan, and then Pattinson is just the grossest little douchebag boy ever. But again, like, it's a compelling movie. Some stupid decisions are made, I think, but overall a pretty good movie. Yeah, like, it's weird, but and Skarsgård's also in it. Delightful Skarsgård.
Which one?
It Skarsgård.
Billy.
Billy Boy Skarsgård is in it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the main things I've got to talk about is like some of the weird shit that happens in the movie, but I don't want to spoil it. So I'll just say, give it a good watch, and then we can discuss later on. But I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah, that has been kind of on my radar for a little while. It seems like an interesting one. I like the cast too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good one.
How many do you have left, by the way?
Let me see here. Okay, I don't remember. Have I talked about Enola Holmes on the pod?
I don't think so.
Okay, that means I've got 2 sequels and one I want to talk about a bit more. So we'll say 2 things more I've got to talk about.
All right, I got 2 more as well, and then I also briefly want to touch on the KSI thing, which I think is kind of funny.
Yes.
And then, okay, I watched for the first time ever High School Musical, and half of High School Musical 2 at the request of a friend, who I kind of owed one, because they had sat through some UFC, so I felt it was only right that I watch High School Musical.
Okay. Fair.
I mean, it's it's exactly what you think it's gonna be. It's
cringe sack stuff.
Yeah, it's either 5 stars or 1 star, depending on how you look at it. Because it's sort of, it's obviously not good, but it's also kind of funny at times. I don't know. Yeah, it's I love a good wholesome time. As far as like I'd much rather watch this than like a really. I'm not saying anything about Eyes Wide Shut, but like a really kind of dull whatever. Like I'm just
whatever.
High School
Kubrick
Musical
movie.
Better than Eyes Wide Shut? ?
The least hot take in humanity.
Zac Efron more talented than Kubrick! ! But yeah,
Full stop.
I don't know if you've seen it, but easily the best part of the film is Sharpay, the kind of antagonist. She's great.
I've just gotten this kind of like slow and gradual buildup of hatred for this movie because having not seen it, and this is not like a case of me feeling left out. It's just annoying when people do it. Where it's like you haven't seen the movie, and then they're like, you know what? At a party, it's like, let's put on the entire High School Musical soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
yeah,
stop it.
No.
And they hit you with that. We're all in this. I was like,
a classic.
all right, this is it. I'm about to go full coop on this bitch.
You release the rats. But I agree. I honestly, part of why I agreed also to watch it, because I was like, I've gotten so many, you've never seen High School Musical? I'm like, fine, I'll watch it. And look,
fine, I'll watch it and I'll hate it. Do you prefer that?
I didn't hate it. I thought it was fun. The thing is, though, also Zac Efron and Gabriella, they have no problems. Their only problem is that they're too good at too many things. Zac Efron's like, I'm such a great basketball player, but I'm also so good at singing. What am I going to do? And it's like, fuck off. Like, I'm struggling over here, right?
I'm mediocre at basketball at best.
There's some fun music and whatever. It is what it is. It's exactly what you think it is. Either you're here for it or you're not. It's fun to play a drinking game, too. That I found. But besides that, it is what it is. Also, I think I can just do this last one real quick.
Okay.
I did finally watch Promising Young Woman. I don't know if you've heard of this. I've wanted to watch it for a while. It got a lot of buzz a couple years ago. It's, I don't know. I guess I don't really want to spoil it too much, but it's about a woman who
is promising.
She and young. No, she go like her basically she. I mean, do you mind if I spoil it or No,
go ahead.
Basically, her friend is sexually assaulted, I think, in college, and then ends up killing herself, and then the main character has dedicated her life to kind of pretending to be drunk at bars, so then creepy guys take her home, and then revealing she's not drunk, and being you're creepy, which is interesting, and then it develops from
she
there.
doesn't like kill them.
That's the thing. And again, this might be an Eyes Wide Shut situation where it's a victim of my own expectations, but because I'd heard like just like the vague premises, and I thought like, okay, so it's kind of maybe it'll be a bit of like a revenge kind of like and then she fucking stabs him in the face or something. I was like, okay, kind of here for this.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like again, that's sort of my stupidness because like it's a lot more subtle than that. And it's a lot more like thoughtful than that. Like it's more kind of it's not like sort of a ridiculous like stupid revenge thing that
I'm gonna stab you for revenge. But.
Like it's more like, oh, this is kind of quite sad and upsetting sort of thing. It does have like kind of funny moments at times, but it's I don't know. I don't want to. I feel like expectations. Maybe I shouldn't have expecting some stupid thing and should have expected it to be more kind of thoughtful. But I was a little. I guess like I was like.
But when she didn't slash him with the scissors, I was. I was bummed.
It makes me sound so stupid. But like I don't know. I think maybe that played a part in it because I didn't love it. I thought it was solid.
I get you.
I came out and was like, okay, that was good. I think I just because I'd heard so much great stuff about it, I was like, that was okay. That was good. Like it was well done, but like it didn't really blow me away in the way that like it blew a lot of people away, which is maybe why I thought it was going to be more like crazy, but it was still good.
Yeah.
The main thing about it is it has not the main thing about it, but the main thing I guess we can talk about here. So like it's a very well made film with like a good like an interesting message on that, but it is it does star a lot of like comedic actors from a certain era. So there's like I mean Bo Burnham plays a big part in it. Christopher Mintz-Plasse McLovin, he's in it.
Okay.
And then at the end which I knew he was in it, but it was so bad because it's a really like intense, kind of very brutal ending, and then fucking Schmidt is there. And it was like, and I'm not kidding, he is just doing Schmidt. He's just playing Schmidt. It's like Schmidt was dropped in, it's like season 1 Schmidt when he's like the more douchey like bro, frat bro kind of thing, because at the end, spoiler alert, she finds the guy who like did the bad stuff. And she goes to his bachelor party with the intention of like
Schmidt?
No. So Schmidt's just like his friend. But so she goes there to like not kill the guy, but maybe like cut him up a little bit or something. Yeah, it's gonna be like the big finale, whatever. The guy, spoiler alert, the guy ends up actually killing her at the end of the movie, which is like a very kind of like poignant ending. You're like, oh my god. And then fucking Schmidt walks in, and it's just like it was so weird because he's doing like the shit. He's like, broski, what's up, my man, or whatever. And, like, and then genuinely the way he delivered, and I think maybe it's supposed to be a little comedic, maybe in like the absurdity and like the terribleness of it, but like it genuinely felt like a line from like some weird alternate dark version of New Girl where Schmidt finds out that she's dead and he goes, "You killed the stripper," and it feels like something he would yell at Nick Miller in like some weird New Girl episode where he killed a stripper. I can't explain how much of he's just Schmidt, which kind of takes me very much out of it, but I think
that's so great.
So there's and then at the end, like from the grave, like she alerts the police and all this stuff. So it's kind of a satisfying ending. But yeah, an interesting movie. Not exactly. I wasn't like as gripped by it as I maybe thought I would be, or like I didn't get as much out of it as maybe I thought. But it was still like a very interesting. Maybe just like it's more kind of a little bit more grounded, I guess, than maybe you'd expect. But that's not. I think if I watched it the second time, I'd probably like it more. But that's
that does sound good. I do want to watch that. That sounds very, very good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll hit you with my treble here. Two of which, just quickly breeze over. I watched Enola Holmes 2, which I think a lot better than the first one, actually. There's more Cavill in it. It's much more intricate. I think it's more engaging. Just very, very good. I really enjoyed it. Apart again for a few child actors and actresses that kind of take it away from me, but
sure.
Apart from that, very, very good.
Okay.
Another sequel is that I watched Murder Mystery 2, starring Sandler and Aniston.
Right. I think I saw cheeky. Was it 4 stars?
No, surely not. I would not give that 4 stars. Did I give it 4 stars?
I remember I was surprised by how many stars there were, but
3.5.
Okay.
3.5 stars.
Okay, all right.
Which I know maybe a bit much, but I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a classic Sandler, and it's like, again, such a stupid, dumb movie. But it's a murder mystery where Sandler is just being Sandler. There is one where he basically goes into a panic and just eats a bunch of cheese. It's a delightful scene. He's like, I ate all the cheese!
Fair.
And
relatable
you get to like you get I was like, me too, Sandler. You like whatchamacallit, you see characters from the first movie that you enjoy, and like seeing them kind of like there's a bit of development in some of them. Like seeing the kind of like gang back together is very good. It's a pretty surprising, like, again, it's a murder mystery, and it obviously won't be as engaging as like a Poirot or a Benoit, but because it's Sandler and he's being a little bit silly with it, but it's still, they make it well done. They do it in a good and engaging way, and just, yeah, don't need to give it too much attention. You can just kind of sit back. If you want a stupid fun movie to watch, I recommend.
Fair enough. I can't dispute that.
It's not bad. And then the main movie of the three I watched is Fear of Rain. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
So it's about a schizophrenic teenage girl called Rain who goes through a bunch. Yeah, like she doesn't love being on her medication because she like it dulls her sense and she doesn't feel like herself and stuff like that. But then if she's not on her medication, she gets terrible like schizophrenic episodes, right? Mm-hmm. And then the whole movie is basically about how she thinks her neighbor, who's also her high school teacher, has kidnapped a little girl and is hiding her. So she hears voices, screams, sees things, but then she can't be sure if it's her schizophrenia that's doing it or if it's actually real, right? And if whenever she tells anyone about it, they'll just think it's her schizophrenia, right?
Right.
So it's a very...
That's a very interesting premise.
It's a very, very interesting premise. And then it gets even more like... It's a bit of a mindfuck of a movie because there's also characters that she interacts with that turn out not to be real. So then you're like, oh my god, is because like that character may be agreeing with her, but if that character's agreeing with her, is that character even real? And you just start questioning everything. It's fucking... It's a big mindfuck. I recommend it. There's like, kind of like teenage romance kind of blossoming with a guy called, I feel like it's, what is it? I'm sure I wrote it down. Caleb, just the most delightful little nerd. Just so cute and sweet. There's a twist that you kind of like, it's built up towards like throughout the movie, but it still hits quite hard when the twist is revealed. And honestly, just a very, very good movie. I enjoy.
Fair enough. I've never heard of it.
I think you should watch it because again, I really want to talk about what the twists and stuff are, but I think
you can. I mean, you can talk. You can tell me the twist. That's.
Can I tell you the twist? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So, spoiler alert for Fear of Rain, but basically, so she's like talking to her mom and dad throughout the entire movie, right? But there's like a few things off with like the way the dad interacts with her, where it's like you sure you're gonna be okay like on your own, even though the mom's home and stuff like that. He like goes to work and like works late nights as a stuff like that. And then she like continues to interact with the mom as well. It's like me and your dad were just figuring things out like differently and things like that. Then it turns out that one of the main sparks for her schizophrenic episodes is that her mom died 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so the whole time, kind of thing. And the way that it's revealed is that she brings Caleb back, who she's in her own head because like he doesn't have many other friends and they only basically like interact with them two. So she's like, Caleb is probably not real, but I want to tell my mom about it anyways. Like, I want to, so my mom knows what's going on in my life, even if he's not real. Turns out he's real, and she starts introducing Caleb to her mom, but the mom's not real. So then Caleb's freaked out,
Oh wow!
Big twist.
Damn.
It's actually really good. But like, so she tries to get Caleb to help her figure out if like the girl is actually kidnapped in her neighbor, and the teacher is just one of the creepiest beings I've ever seen. Like this like super tall, skinny lady who's got like, I don't know, she's like the creepiest like old lady smile kind of thing.
Damn.
So. It's actually a very, very good movie, and it's also kind of emotional, kind of a little bit, like because it's very well acted, so you can kind of like feel what she goes through a little bit with how like unsure she is of anything that she actually sees and hears and believes. So I very much enjoyed it.
It does sound like a real mind effort, as they say.
It truly was.
Damn, fair enough. Yeah, I'd never heard of it, but I may have to check that out then. That sounds like a good psychological kind of thriller vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, speaking of things that thrill us deeply,
psychologically,
should we talk about KSI's boxing match?
Please.
No, I just want to talk about the main thing, which is I'm assuming have you seen the ending, the knockout?
I did see the knockout. I hear people are saying it was an elbow or something.
It was an elbow. It was 100% an elbow. And I don't know. It's just kind of funny, just because like the whole thing is kind of a bit of a clown show, and so of course he knocks him out with just the absolute flushest elbow to the chin. Yeah, clearly, I think it was clearly unintentional. Like he was clearly going for a punch, but I don't want to.
How's he not been disqualified for that?
Well, that's the thing. It should at the very least be a no contest, because like it wasn't. I think if it was intentional, he should be disqualified. But I think because it was unintentional, it should just be a no contest, which just means like no one wins. But I mean, it's his whole promotion. It's not like a pro match, I don't think. So they can probably weasel their way out of it, which is kind of shitty. Like it's like. It should be. I don't care what, like, they're not going to do a rematch or anything. Like, just move. He was going to win anyway. But I don't think that's a good excuse to be like, yeah, but it should be a no contest. If this is, like, any kind of real competition thing. Just a classic KSI moment. Also, by the way.
Is he Deginald won?
Yeah, it was a pretty boring fight. I'm not going to lie. These events I'm not going to lie. They kind of suck.
They kind of stink.
I've very much skimmed through, like, man, I don't want to say they're killing the whole YouTube boxing thing, but there's so many things they're doing wrong, I feel like, on that whole KSI Misfits thing that, like, man. But, and it's just, I can't stress enough, even though, like, I kind of enjoy the YouTube boxing thing for what it is, I can't stress enough how cringy I find it when they try to talk about it like it's real boxing. Like, there's, when they refer to people as the champ.
Oh my god, salt puppy!
It's like, he's like, he's a dog, man. You don't want to get that fire out of him. And it's like, you're talking about Deji. It's like, what? Shut the fuck up. Or like, I don't know. He's a contender now. And when they talk about their division, it's like, he's a problem. He's a problem at 175. It's like, you're saying Deji Olatunji is a problem at 175? Like, he's an actual fucking, like, fighter? Like, shut the fuck up. By the way, just because we're talking about the YouTube boxing, I just want to put this out here. Jake Paul's fighting Nate Diaz in August, and I just want to put it so I have it on the record. He's going to win so easily. Like, it's the same thing that was happening when he was fighting Ben Askren, where all the MMA fans, because everyone likes Nate Diaz so much. They're like, oh my god, Nate, he's got that dog in him. He's gonna pull it out. He's so tough. Whatever. It doesn't matter. He's going to lose so easily. Like it's like the Emperor's New Clothes. It's like I'm the only one who can. I would love to be wrong about this because I don't love Nate Diaz, but like I like him more than Jake Paul. But Nate Diaz, he used to fight at 155 pounds. He got dropped a bunch of times by Conor McGregor, who also used to fight at 145 pounds. Like, he's fighting 185. Yeah. He's older.
Wasn't he more of a wrestler?
He's more of a submission guy. People are talking about his boxing. His boxing's fucking really bad for, like, real boxing. Like, it works in MMA, and he has, like, I understand he has, like, a style that, like, looks bad, but actually it's kind of effective, whatever. It's kind of effective in MMA. It's not gonna work in a boxing match. He's so much slower and older and smaller, and, like, everyone talks about he has this iron chin or whatever. It's not gonna... Tyron Woodley also had, like, a really good chin, and he was bigger than Nate Diaz, and he got knocked out. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but everyone's like, oh my god, Nate's gonna, everyone's underestimating...
Nate's gonna show him.
It's like, no, he's gonna... It's frustrating, and I'm like, yeah, anyway. I think he's gonna get... I don't think he's gonna get knocked out cold, but I think he's just gonna get knocked down, like, 5 times, and they're just gonna wave it off, and they're like, yeah. He probably won't be, like, super hurt, but he's just gonna get, He's
gonna be slapped around a bit.
It's not gonna be good, unfortunately, but whatever. But yeah, I would like Nate to win though. But it is what it is. Anyway, all that out of the way, it's now time for
the Cnews.
So if there's a real Cruise story this week, actually, yeah. Again, I'm sorry.
Tom Cruise arrested in Pumbaa outfit.
For going on a rampage in London. Again, Lele sent us a thing that, again, is we can kind of do whenever, so I think we'll save that for when there isn't a real Tom Cruise. But this week, this was a little bit amusing. Simon Pegg says, this is from avclub.com, Simon Pegg says he has a, quote, simple friendship with Tom Cruise, where they don't talk about the thing. So, Let's see what he said here.
The Thing, referring to the Tom Cruise cake, of course.
Right, right, naturally. Pegg figures it would be, quote, abuse my privileged access that I get to him, unquote, if he were to bring it up. Which I assume is in reference to the Scientology thing. But,
I guess. But it doesn't sound like much of a friendship if you feel like you abuse it by talking to him about something.
Yeah, calling your friendship your privileged access to him. Like, I get if you don't want to talk about it, like, you're not that close, like, that's fine. But just, feels kind of weird to refer to your, like, relationship with someone as a privileged access to them. Like, you can also be like, I don't want to talk about it.
He's some, like, science experiment you're doing.
Yeah. I get to be in the same room as this creature, you know. I don't want to.
Yeah, I have to wear my hazmat suit, but it's worth it.
Yeah, like you could just say, like, yeah, you know, I don't want to get into all that. Like, that's
yeah, we're fine. We're fine as is.
Yeah. Pegg also says that Cruise is, somewhat unsurprisingly, a person who loves being famous and, quote, really relishes it, unquote. It's all he knows, and that it energizes him and spurs him on. Is he never not on? God. Anyway,
what?
Pegg is...
What's going on?
I don't know what... Pegg's having, like, a clear
nervous breakdown here, where he's either super afraid of Tom Cruise or deeply, deeply in love.
Or both, or there's a gun to his crotch or something. I don't know, but... Anyway, good for Pegg, I guess. Anyway, yeah, that is what it is. We're going to move on to the comments from the last episode. Also, some of these episodes are not doing bad numbers. I'll just put that out there. We're doing okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What numbers we talking?
Well, this one had 259. The last one's almost at 300. I'm just saying.
Okay, we'll take those. All
right, Movie Boy says the boys are back and on Wednesday. They are. Al Feld says the Poorly Planned Podcast on a Wednesday. Am I in the Twilight Zone? Also, you're welcome about the news. I also have a new suggestion. Versus, but with video game characters. God, that's a dangerous territory.
That is that dangerous. It might break us once and for all.
Also, 4 weeks ago marked the 5-year anniversary of where Rampage first came out. Excuse me, George. So that's...
Vomits?
That is exciting. Thank you, Alfeld. Yu Chia Chen says, to be fair, Sean Gunn does the motion of Rocket on set, which contributes a lot to these films. Not motion capture, but just for the actors to interact with. The sudden Sean Gunn hate is hilarious, though. Again, I feel bad for Sean Gunn hate. We weren't trying to hate. I was just putting out there for his character, but...
Since then, I've seen like a bunch of interviews where everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Sean Gunn's so great. I love him."
I'm sorry. We apologize to Sean Gunn, and yeah, he does do the motion or the stuff on set for Rocket. So that is.
But come on,
that's a Sean dub. We have to give it to him.
Sean dub.
Josie says, Guardians 3 put me in such a good mood as a Marvel fan. Easily the best MCU movie since Spider-Man No Way Home. The hallway fight might rival Daredevil's hallway fight. Not even kidding. BHL and Freddy both have W's in this episode. Hashtag open the fucking door. Hashtag cringe. Hashtag hand. Hashtag my father was a pastor. Hashtag I heart pussy.
Your voice always gets a little bit lower when the pussy comes in.
Shrumpy says, got jump scared by the notification of a new pod. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Also, as an avid Dungeons & Dragons player myself, the movie absolutely nailed it. All the spells, creatures, and locations are in the game, and apparently Hasbro even stated that this movie is indeed canon in the D&D lore. The character dynamics and wacky shenanigans felt straight out of a D&D game. I play with my friends. Overall, good times. Although I have to say, the Kraglin hate was unnecessary. Stop doing my boy dirty. We're sorry. We're sorry about the Sean hate. And that's cool to hear, actually, from someone who actually plays Dungeons & Dragons. I was curious how it would hold up. Yeah. Hashtag justice for Kraglin. Hashtag my father was a pastor. Hashtag Buss in Boots. Hashtag Big Duke. Hashtag Hugh Grant Bussy. Good stuff all around.
Buss and Boots.
Josie says, this episode is one of my favorites in a good long while. A majority, if not all the pods were great, but none of them made me laugh as hard as this one in a long time. Thank you, Josie. I'm glad you enjoyed. ZJ says, it's a great feeling to unexpectedly get a pod on a Wednesday. Also extremely rare FTKW with his Guardians 3 opinion.
What?
Hashtag my father was a pastor. Hashtag BHL heart bussy. Hashtag I need a gun, a Sean gun.
You read the bussy like you're reading a treasure map. I heart bussy. Where could it be?
Daniel responds, hashtag Freddy heart bussy. So, Cal W says, I absolutely hate that the skin on Kraglin's head goes up a little bit around the fin. It's so weird and disturbing. That's a very good point, actually. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
That is true.
Daniel says, another really great and enjoyable episode. Keep up the Hugh Grant-esque work. And once again, very funny and enjoyable episode. I've not yet seen Guardians 3, but I hope so soon. So I can't wait to hear your in-depth thoughts on the film once I see it. And possibly the best announcements in such segment. So crazy and insane. Truly felt like a fever dream. And I have no idea what the My Father's a Pastor is. I just go with the flow, I guess. Hashtag horny Grant. Hashtag Pine loves pussy. Hashtag Cruz is Pumbaa. Hashtag Epic Freddy Corden roast. Edit, I've now seen Guardians 3 and I loved it. Truly fantastic, my favorite MCU film since Endgame. And let's see, oh boy, we have a lot of replies
Corden
here,
roast.
so we're just gonna power through these, alright? I'm not even gonna say who said what. I'm just gonna go through what's happening here.
Okay, just hit me with it.
I think it's Josie and Daniel. Let's see. The announcements just get more and more sane, and I love it. Hashtag Freddy's a coke addict. Hashtag my father was not a pastor. Hashtag bird. Hashtag my father could be a pastor. Hashtag BHL is Pinocchio. Hashtag FTK hearts bussy. Hashtag what a joke.
Bushy.
Hashtag bear bussy. Hashtag I'm gonna need a bussy. Hashtag bussmaker. What a joke.
Hashtag I'm gonna need a bussy.
Sorry, I missed one. Hashtag little Duke bussy. Oh my god, there are so many of these. I'm not even kidding. Okay, hashtag yo bussies. Hashtag George is a bussy. Patman is bussy. Morbius, what a bussy. Hashtag he's definitely bussy. Boxes of bus. Oh my god.
Boxes of bus.
We're almost there. Hashtag Ron Bussley. Hashtag Busseldor. Hashtag Woody and Bus. And finally here, hashtag Rocket Bussy. Hashtag Pirates Bussy. And finally, hashtag probably the best detective in the world loves Bussy. I want to die. I hope also that just clip of me just rambling about Bussy just gets taken out somewhere.
Oh my god, my cheeks hurt.
The Clips channel says a pod on Wednesday. Let's go. Father's pastor, heart bussy, all good stuff. Jaden says has to go down as one of the best announcements in such segment ever. The amount of bussy and pastor fathers have me dying of laughter. Hashtag BHL Bussyson. Hashtag Rocket is a naughty. Hashtag Rocket is a naughty stepbrother. Hashtag Ham. Hashtag Rogan the Cuck Master. Goodness.
Rocket is a naughty stepbrother. These comments and hashtags are so good. I love it.
Anson left an extended series of comments about the Guardians films. Unfortunately, we are running a bit late here on time, so I'm not going to be able to go through this, but I will read it later, and I appreciate your contribution here. There's some defending of the High Evolutionary in there, which I think maybe you would appreciate because you do like him.
I agree with Anson.
And then AJ Murray says, Kraglin, what a joke. Daniel says, Kraglin, what a disappointment. Josie says, Cosmo, what a good dog. Cosmo, what a bad dog. Howard, what a duck. Howard, what a the duck. Rocket, what a raccoon. Star-Lord, what a drunk. There we go. We have successfully navigated another pod comment section. I'm proud of us.
God, it's so chaotic.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Okay, let's see if there's anything on the fan page. I don't think so. Okay, we good. So, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, hit the comment, hit the bell button, leave a comment down below what you thought about this episode and the movies we talked about. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, the Poorly Planned Podcast on YouTube. Check us out. Leave a 5-star rating, a nice review, tell your friends. You can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com. I'm also on TikTok at BHL Hudson and Letterboxd at RealBHL Hudson. All these links are down below.
You can find me on Twitter at FTK_AdultSniper. You can find me on Instagram at Fidalgard, Letterboxd at FTK_Thwilms, and on YouTube at FTK Space Gaming.
Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Good morning, Coop.
God, there was a lot of layers to that one. I appreciate that.
It was deep.